Welcome to the big podcast. The big podcast.
Yeah, the biggest podcast. So big, it can't go on the radio because it's just too damn good and too damn big. If we change the name to Too Big for Radio?
Yeah, all that is accurate. All that is accurate. For whatever reason you're listening, we're glad that you are with you. It's Mike and Molson's Too Good for Radio podcast. And Mike, you just got back from Disney.
Then I did. That's why we didn't have a new episode for all you fine folks to enjoy last week. I spent some time at Disney World, and Johnny, you know, the wife and I go there often. We enjoy it. But I saw something this latest trip that I have never seen before in all my trips to Disney World. Here's what broke down. Did Goofy's
head fall off?
No, it did not. I did not have the magic ruined, because that's always the worst thing that you can think can happen. Of like when they're dancing around, it's like, and the childhood joy just goes away. You're like, wait a minute, who's that weirdo underneath there?
Right. Some sweaty college kid.
And that's usually what it is. That's getting paid a pittance. And you're like, how do I let my kid hug this thing all the time? No, the situation arose. My wife and I were in line for some photos. We went to a Halloween party that allows grown-ups to dress up within the Magic Kingdom. And Judge, go ahead, flame me in the comments. Do what you will. I understand the ridiculousness of it, but I still fully embrace it. But we're standing there in line, and I noticed something going on in front of us, like a few people in front of us in line. There are three individuals. There is a woman with two men with her. Now, I had assumed that it was a husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend, and maybe a sibling of either the man in question or the female in question, is what I had assumed. Okay. So all of a sudden, it gets to be their turn to take the photo, and the Disney worker's like, okay, and it's just one man and the woman go out to take a picture, and the other gentleman stays back. And I was like, okay. She gives a hug to this guy, and then they smooch on the lips. So I'm like, okay, that must be the spouse in this particular relationship. So the photographer goes, okay, done with this. And she goes, no, we're not. And brings in the other gentleman. But the previous gentleman who she just smooched on the lips then goes out of frame. And it's just her and this other gentleman. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's a siblings trip too. I'm kind of confused, and you can see the gears working in the photographer as well, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden, the first pose is a hug. You're like, okay, and then the hug was a little weird for brother and sister, and then the gears really start to go for me and the photographer, because the next pose is she's smooching this guy in the lips, and immediately it dawns on me, I have seen a throuple out in the wild.
Really? You're going to spring that on the photographer?
Correct. And then the photographer is flummoxed.
That's not fair.
No, it's not, because he's used to like having to deal with crying kids or maybe families in the middle of a meltdown. He doesn't know how to handle a throuple in the middle of the Magic Kingdom.
Wow.
And so I'm as dumbfounded as the photographer is. Now, I don't make mention of this to my wife because I assume that she has seen it all transpire as well, but she, isn't saying anything. So I'm like, well, maybe she just doesn't want to talk about it here. And I understand that, whatever. Fast forward, the next night we were on the monorail, and son of a bitch, if those thruples don't show up on the monorail. And I turn to my wife, I go, oh my God, the thruples are back. And she's like, what? And I regale her the story I just regaled to you. And she's like, holy crap. And she noticed something I didn't in this particular interaction with the throuple. She had both men wearing the same T-shirt to match her outfit.
Ew.
Was there some type of weird religious sect there that I didn't know about?
Wow. See, isn't that weird? And everybody is all upset because Disney, I don't know, showed a lesbian in a cartoon or something. That's nothing.
No, nothing compared to the
thruples walking around.
It just threw me for like the look on the photographer's face. Like when he wrapped up that photo shoot, he was so relieved to see a normal. I don't want to say that's abnormal. I don't want to judge anyone, but it was just weird to see out in the wild, because we talk about it quite a bit, but he was so relieved to see a family of four and go, thank God there's not going to be weird kissing going on in this particular one.
Right.
I just want to get my night over with. I'm done with this throupling.
He doesn't put those pictures up on his website as an example of his work, does he?
I don't think so. I would hope not.
Not.
I mean, it goes to Disney. I don't know if Disney scrubs him and goes, oh, this is a little crazy. Thank God it was. At least they went one at a time. It would have been even worse if there would have been like a 3-way makeout at the Magic Kingdom. That's when I think even Mickey would have been like, oh, stop it right there. We're open, but not that open.
Didn't we just have a story about somebody doing some not safe for work TikToks at Disney? What is happening to this magical place?
It goes back to your premise that you made in the last podcast episode that we dropped, that by the year 2030, we're all going to have been in a porn. And I guess we're just one step close. Yeah, it really does. Especially when throupling enters the Magic Kingdom, that's when you go, okay, I think I've seen it all now at the Magic Kingdom. So, that was one of the biggest takeaways from the Disney trip was seeing a throuple live in the wild.
Well, there's another kingdom that is in upheaval right now over in the United Kingdom, where Queen Elizabeth, of course, dead, and now we have a king.
Oh, God. King Charles.
King Charles III. Like somebody on Twitter said, Canada is about to get really ugly money.
Very true. That's the thing you don't realize is like they got to reprint all this money now. For years, they've been just sitting back and being like, just roll with the queen. She's still around. And now everyone's got to go back to work and be like, son of a, now we got to put this ugly mug on coins.
Now, Queen Elizabeth, very young when she ascended to the throne. And so we've had 70 years with Prince Charles, now King Charles, and we saw him as a wild playboy, and then he married Diana Spencer, and that went all sideways. And there's, so we know a lot about him that maybe we would not have known otherwise because he's always been in the public eye. And apparently, this is an unusually fastidious king.
A return to the monarchs of old. Of England, the stuffy, fastidious king, right?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, this is. Did any king ever do this? For example, some of his staff from when he was a prince have come out and said he has to have his pajamas pressed every morning. His pajamas, the royal pajamas.
Who is wearing pressed pajamas? The whole point of pajamas is to look frumpy. Right? You don't want pressed pajamas. What kind of weirdo wants that?
Yeah. I mean, you can imagine they're all starched and everything. That's not comfortable.
Yeah. No. Uncomfortable. Yeah.
The royal shoelaces are ironed every day because nobody wants wrinkly shoelaces.
Get the hell out of here with that. You tie them. Why do you need them ironed?
I don't know. Who's checking your shoelaces for wrinkles? He likes to take a bath.
Of course he does.
And he insists that the bath plug is in a certain position.
The what plug?
The bath plug, I said. I said bath plug.
Okay, just making sure. Is in a certain position. Okay.
And the water has to just be tepid and the bathtub only half full. He does not want to scald the royal plums, as it were.
God forbid the royal plums gets scalded. Don't want that.
He has a valet who every morning will squeeze exactly 1 inch of toothpaste onto his toothbrush.
Are you that he can't even squeeze his own goddamn toothbrush?
No, he can't.
Toothpaste. Good Lord. This seems like straight out of Coming to America. Your royal balls are clean. I mean, that's what it seems like.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't this sound, and forget that he's a king. This just sounds unhealthy. This is like an unhealthy person.
It just sounds like someone who's awful to be around. That you can't even, someone who prefers pressed pajamas, iron shoelaces, and please, just 1 inch of a toothpaste on my toothbrush for me.
Then he goes to breakfast. He has homemade bread, a bowl of fresh fruit, and fresh fruit juices. If he's traveling, the breakfast box goes with him with 6 different types of honey, special mueslis, dried fruit, and anything that's a bit special that he's a bit fussy about. Supposedly, he also
Everything, it seems like he's a bit fussy about. Fancy boy there.
Whenever he has cheese and biscuits, they need to be warmed to a certain temperature, so much so that the valets keep a warming tray nearby to keep the biscuits at that perfect kingly temperature.
He wants warm biscuits and not charred plums.
Right. He also, when he is going somewhere, he sends ahead a box of books to unload his bed, furniture, and even pictures. He reportedly even brings his own toilet seat and must use Kleenex velvet toilet paper.
Now, I will say this, to go back quickly to my Disney trip. This was the first time we brought our own toilet paper. Game changer. Because hotel toilet paper, let's face facts, they cut some corners. And that's the one thing you don't want to cut the corner on.
You brought your own toilet paper?
Yeah, we bought a roll of Charmin with.
You packed toilet paper?
What's that?
You packed toilet paper?
Yes, we packed our own toilet paper. You want to stay on a regular routine. You don't want anything messing it up. That one ply just won't do. So I'm okay with him bringing his own toilet paper. The toilet seat is a step beyond, though.
Where are you staying that the toilet paper is that bad?
Any hotel. If you tell me a hotel that you've gone to that you've been like, wow, can I call the front desk to see what kind of toilet paper they're using in this restroom? Because I need to buy it in bulk.
No, but I've never been so put out by the toilet paper that I would think ahead to pack my... That's ridiculous, Mike.
You call it ridiculous. I call it living in comfort. The last thing I want is the one ply stuff going on and then itchy and then the Florida heat. I don't want that. I want my bum to be nice and comforted with my Charmin Plus.
If I'm staying at like a janky Super 8 or something, I don't want to throw Super 8 under the bus here. Maybe it's going to be a little off, but really? Okay.
Yeah. So out of all the things you've said, it's the one I can agree with King Charles on is bring your own damn toilet paper.
Yeah.
You'll feel better off. But I don't need someone pressing my pajamas or ironing my shoelaces or sending the toilet seat. A toilet seat is a toilet seat, right?
I don't know. I don't know what kind of toilet seats they give you in Buckingham Palace. Maybe
by the way, the cushion ones, remember when those were a rage? Like cushion toilet seats? Terrible. I don't know. My old man needed one and terrible. Like, I'm like, what am I doing here? This is awful.
Right. It's like the first time in your life your rear end sweats by itself.
True.
You know? You didn't realize you had sweat glands on your ass
until you get the padded toilet seat. You're like,
why is my butt all wet?
No one should enjoy this. No one.
And his favorite meal, I guess every morning he also just likes to have cheesy scrambled eggs. And his favorite meal, though, sounds kind of good, is a wild mushroom risotto with lamb. But the mushrooms must be sourced from his own estate. You can't go to the Royal Hy-Vee and get a mushroom for the king.
You can't go. What is it that they love around here to go? The morel mushrooms.
Oh, the morels, yeah.
Yeah, he would have no use for that. See, that's just a step beyond.
So we are on the brink of an insufferable king. That's for sure.
Speaking of insufferable, I did want to mention this quickly. There is a story I just glanced over out of Detroit, where you used to reside, about an individual who is turning in his Detroit Lions season tickets because just too many fights are breaking out in the stands. Now, this particular gentleman said it's not just football stadiums where fights are breaking out. Smith pointed out that not all football fans encounter such foolishness. As he says, a fight broke out. It's not just football fans, I should say, because he says he also witnessed a fight break out inside the Fox Theater recently during a Mannheim Steamroller show. His quote is thus: "When you start seeing fights at a Mannheim Steamroller concert, there's a problem."
Yeah, were they trying to get out? And
that's what I'm saying.
The door. Yeah, I would have started throwing punches too.
I think fists should always be thrown at a Mannheim Steamroller concert, but only at the band, so they can stop, because it's in their wheelhouse now, right? This becomes a time where they start being everywhere, and I just want to punch a TV whenever I hear their crap.
It's a it's I have never fully understood the appeal to Mannheim Steamroller, and if I woke up and suddenly I'm in a concert, I'm going to start punching. I'm going to kick. I'm going to punch.
I'm going to throw whatever needs to be done to get the hell out of there. I'm assuming that's what happened. I'm assuming that fight broke out not because someone wanted to get closer to Mannheim Steamroller. It was someone who was drugged and then awoken inside the Mannheim Steamroller concert and had to fight their way out of it.
Yeah, they got dragged in. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the only way that happens. I don't see, because we all know who the Mannheim Steamroller fans are, and I don't see them really throwing a fisticuff.
No.
Right?
No,
yeah,
agreed.
I don't see that. I don't see that. So if you were ever stuck, though, Johnny, in a unending loop of Mannheim Steamroller songs, I assume you would probably want to take your life.
Yeah, and this poor guy in the Philippines was just about to end it all. He had had it. I don't know what was going on there. Probably was doing some early Christmas shopping, and Mannheim Steamroller popped on or something, and he said, "I've had it, and
I'm done." He's like, Red Soul Vine just played after Mannheim Steamroller, and you know what? I'm going to go see Jesus tonight, like the little kid that sat on Santa's lap. The sweet release.
He decided he was going to end it all by just hurling himself from the third floor in a shopping mall, which really, I don't think third floor is going to quite do it. It might hurt a lot. You might really break a bone or something.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the best way to go about it, because also that leads to collateral damage, right? That leads to individuals who, may care about you or trying to talk you down, or just people minding their own business getting hit, and then all of a sudden something bad happened to them that they didn't want happening.
So he stands there on the ledge, yells, "Goodbye, cruel world," swan dives off. But much to his disappointment, there just happened to be a display of mattresses on sale just below him. And so instead of dying, he just sort of went thump and just landed.
I know I shouldn't laugh because of the context.
That's funny.
But should whatever mattress company that he landed on use that as an advertisement? Our mattresses are literally life-saving.
Yeah.
You can jump from a third floor balcony and still feel the comfort of a Serta or Posturepedic or whatever it may be. So call now.
And I guess there's video of it somewhere online. I'm just seeing a still picture here, but that's what we do. We, when something horrific happens, you don't say, "Oh my gosh, stop that, man." You get your phone out and say, "I got to get this. This is going to be cool."
The only thing that makes this story funnier is if he jumped off and there was a trampoline sale below him.
Just put him right back where he started.
Right back where he started. He's like, son of a
In the video, it can be seen mall personnel immediately assisted the man who jumped from the third floor, and it says a roving security officer also witnessed it. They brought the man to the clinic. He's in stable condition and really, really pissed that he's still alive. It's like, damn it. Why am I here? I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be there.
Exactly. Out of all the places for me to land, son of a biscuit. Quickly, before we get to a Reddit Am I the A-hole here in the Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast, Johnny, over the years, we have really been the forefront of monkey news, right?
Yes.
When people think of breaking news involving chimpanzees, gorillas, monkeys, they think Mike and Molson. And so a listener, a big shout out to one of our listeners, Carrie, sent me a story about a Ukrainian chimpanzee. Chi-Chi is his name, which is a fantastic name, by the way, I think, for a chimpanzee. Would you agree?
I agree.
So Chi-Chi, when Russia started to invade the Ukraine, they moved Chi-Chi from his zoo because he wasn't safe there. So they put him in a different kind of enclosure. Well, Chi-Chi escaped, and they were trying to coax Chi-Chi back and be like, "Come on back, Chi-Chi." And Chi-Chi's like, "Nah, you know what? I like it being out here in the wild. This has been fun for me." All of a sudden, rain shower hits. And Chi-Chi's like, maybe I need some cover. So the zookeeper was out looking for Chi-Chi, gives Chi-Chi a yellow raincoat. So very, very Curious George vibes going on here. But they still won't get, Chi-Chi still is like a toddler refusing to like walk down the aisle of a supermarket, just kind of lies there and like, "Nope, I'm not coming with you." They eventually coax Chi-Chi to come back to the enclosure where they need to keep Chi-Chi by offering up the zookeeper's bike that they rode out to try to get Chi-Chi in the first place, to find him. And so there is a fantastic photo along with the article of Chi-Chi being pushed by 3 people while Chi-Chi is living his best life on top of this bike, just like pedaling away like he is at the euphoria that he is experiencing is one I wish we all could reach at some point.
Good for Chi-Chi.
Yes, good for Chi-Chi indeed.
Yeah.
And by the way,
every monkey in captivity deserves a bike, you know?
Agreed. I think you're right. They deserve that. And if you want, you can put them inside those little, they have them at the state fair, you know, the little like circles where the motorbikes go around.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to do that, if they want to do that, like a nitro circus with chimps, I'm down with that.
Yeah. I'm a little disappointed that someone had to help him, though. I mean, if he can't figure out how to balance that thing, then he's not a very good monkey.
I tell you what I'm not disappointed in, though. The fact that the Ukraine has chimps on bicycles, Russia just bears on unicycles. And I think chimps on bicycles wins out all the time.
Well, who knows how, depending on how this war goes, Russia may not have anything.
That's very true. Very true. And we end the this particular episode of the podcast with the Am I the A-hole from Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
It begins thusly. Me, 22 female, my mom, 37-year-old female, had me really, really young. My dad was never in the picture. She's still very beautiful, and people say we look like sisters. For as long as I can remember, my mom was a very hardworking and independent woman. She takes pride on not letting any man or her family have any financial chain on her, which is super awesome. I admired her until she got on her high horse. Here's where things go awry, Johnny. My longtime boyfriend, 24, comes from a very wealthy family, so he tends to shower me with gifts and surprises. My mom doesn't like it. For her, I'm always relying on his money, which is not true. I have 2 jobs, one at school and one part-time. A few months ago, one of my cousins introduced the terms sugar daddy and sugar baby to my mom. From that moment on, she was sure that my situation is that, which it is not. I've tried to explain to her that my relationship is genuine, that my boyfriend and I are loving partners, and that he's not my bag of money, but she doesn't understand. My boyfriend thinks I should just ignore her because we both know what's really happening behind doors, but it's kind of hard, and I feel like she respects me less because she feels I'm a sugar baby and it's my sugar daddy. Now, he's 24, she's 22. I don't know if that constitutes sugar baby, sugar daddy relationship.
I have very little experience with it, but that does seem that's not the traditional sugar daddy baby scenario.
So fast forward.
Did I answer that okay?
Yes, you did. Very, very non-committal there. I do not know of these such things, but I will say this does not seem to fit that particular nomenclature. Let us move on with the story, if we shall, here within the podcast. Here's what happens next, Johnny. Well, she has been seeing Ben. So her mom's 37. So mom had her at 15. Mom's 37. She's 22. She's been seeing this new guy, Ben, who's a 45-year-old man, for a few months now. And he's always giving my mom nice stuff. Flowers every week, jewelry, cards, going out to nice places, etc. My mom is really happy, and I'm happy for her. But I notice the hypocrisy, but I haven't said anything because it wasn't my intention to bring my mom down. So she's like, oh, you like being showered with gifts, do you?
Oh, man.
Yesterday, my boyfriend got us matching rings, and while he was in the bathroom, my mom made a small sugar baby comment, and like divine justice, she received flowers from Ben at the same time. So, matching rings, mom says, oh, it must be nice being a sugar baby. All of a sudden, mom's new boyfriend has flowers arrive, and the flowers said that he'll take her someplace nice, and she didn't have to worry about anything but looking pretty.
Sugar daddy.
Here's what happens. She was smiling, and I said, good. Now we're both sugar babies, Mom.
Yes.
Her smile dropped and said it wasn't funny and that it was different.
No.
I just left with my boyfriend, but she texted me saying we need to talk and I need to apologize because, quote, it's not the same. Is the 22-year-old daughter here the a-hole? I think our laughter and our response says who the a-hole is in that story.
No, I think she was. I think she was asking for some kind of retort, and she walked herself right into it. I mean, how do you not do that? I mean, that is laying right there. I mean, that is like right in the strike zone. You swing at that one when that is put in front of you.
Yeah, especially when your mom has kind of laid it on thick.
Oh yeah,
And you're at college, you're working a part-time job. It's a boyfriend you've been with for a while. It's not like the daughter's 22 and the boyfriend's 68.
no,
Right? I mean, she just happened to fall in love with someone who happens to have affluence and likes to show it. And the mom was just upset by it. And all of a sudden, the mom finds herself in a situation like that. And I'm with you. The daughter had to say something.
Oh yeah, right between the eyes. Right between the eyes. You don't hesitate.
No, when you see that right in the crosshairs, boom, you got to. And
That's a gift. That never happens.
No, that was divine intervention. It's rare. It's rare when you have a situation fall in your lap like that, and when it does, you must take advantage. And I think the mom's only upset because she got caught and she got called out.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah. Yeah. And then no, absolutely not. You're fine. You did the right thing. I would have been disappointed if she hadn't.
Yeah. Had this story been like, then the flowers came and I thought about saying it, but I didn't. I just love the way she said it. The way she said it. Good. Now we're both sugar babies, Mom. Just sticking the knife in there like,
That
now
is the way to do it. Good for her.
Yeah, that is fantastic. I don't know who is living their better life. Her when that falls in her lap or Chi-Chi on his bike. I'm not quite sure.
Look, I'm all for taking the high road when appropriate and just, when they go low, you go high. But man, there are just times you've just got to pull that trigger. And she did. And that was the time you did it. Good for her. I am very proud of her.
And now you just need to find something on the cousin who brought up the term in the first place to the mom.
Yeah.
You got to find some way to stick it to the cousin now, and then all will be right in the world.
It has been a pleasure walking down this path of Too Good for Radio-ness with all of you. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. I hope you're listening.
I hope you're listening.
Tell your friends, smash the like button, whatever you're supposed to do.
And always travel with your own toilet paper.